Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer and today we're taking a look at InvalidBOM. InvalidBOM is a 32-bit Trojan and everything it does is executed from this bat file. But before we run the file itself, let's go ahead and take a look at it in VirusTotal. So as you can see, we only have 6 detections, and if we take a look in details, this malware sample has been out for a little over 12 hours. Now the thing with batch files is a lot of AV companies don't actually scan them, and if they do, it's really difficult to actually be able to tell that it is loaded with malware unless you have a signature for it already. So to the ones that are detecting this, Fortinet, GData, Google, Icarus, Kaspersky, and ZoneAlarm, a round of applause for them. But for the ones that aren't detecting it, I'm not going to say much about it because BCAF Pro, our AV that detects literally everything's not detecting it. Neither is Bitdefender, neither is MZSoft, neither is ESET, neither is Malwarebytes. Literally nothing's detecting it other than these 6 AVs. So again, to the ones that do, good job. To the ones that didn't, I'm not going to hold it against them. If we go to details, here is your MD5, your SHA-1, and your SHA-256, but you don't have to type this but yourself if you want to follow along. These will be in the comment section down below. It is detecting this as a text file for some reason, but I mean, as you can clearly see, that is not the case, so we can just ignore that. First submission, I usually never go with these, or actually, no, that's not the creation time, it is just first submission. So yeah, this is when it was first submitted, we'll call that the creation time. And here are your 2 names. It looks like a random string.bat, maybe off of a malware repository, and Bose18mkt.bat. If we go to relations, it does contact 3 domains. One of these look really weird, but it is off of Dropbox, so probably a temporary account. And then we also have GitLab. We do have 3 contacted IP addresses. One of these does come up with 1 result, and it's out of the United States. It also has 1 execution period, which seems to be from a zip folder with 3 detections. It does drop 61 files, and if we take a look, it's not actually flagging many of these as malicious. It does flag a few, but I thought it said there was 61. Oh, good God, how many are there? 880? I swear that just said 61. Okay, we're not looking through every single one of them, obviously, but only a few of them are showing up. This one has 2 detections, and that is the most detected one. If we go to behavior, again, I don't spend much time on behavior on this channel, but if you want to look for yourself, you're more than able to. We do have 3 high, 6 medium, and 1 low crowdsource sigma rule, and we have 1 low, or actually 1 medium and 1 information crowdsource IDS role. And if we go to community, we can see who's been here already. Thor, Petic, and Jaffa. No idea why Thor has 3 posts here, but okay. Do with that as you will. I'm going to put that on detection, and we'll take a look at the tools we're going to be using to analyze this today. So we have Process Hacker. I'll go ahead and get that ready to analyze the malware. Wireshark, which I'll go ahead and put on Ethernet 0. Zooey, and Process Monitor, which I'll go ahead and clear because there's 12 main events. Last but not least, we could look at the properties, but we're not going to see much because it is just a bat file. It is going to say the attribute is A, but it's not really going to say anything about, like, you know, the details we'd see in an executable file because it's not an executable file, obviously. And last but not least, let's go ahead and pull up Process Hacker and, without any further ado, run the malware. We'll right click and we'll click Run as Administrator. We'll click Run as Administrator. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Windows Command Processor. Yes, I do. And as soon as we open it, it does pop up command prompt and immediately is doing things with console host and PowerShell. It is trying to open a docx file, which would be for Microsoft Word. However, we don't have Word on this machine, so I'm not going to be able to open that. But it is still doing other things. So what I'm assuming is it is trying to... I don't know what that would be. I guess it could be installing a Word document with an infected macro maybe, but in 2024 I kind of doubt it. We do also have Python running in the background, so it is running a Python script. As you can see, it did open Microsoft Edge, so it's most likely going to be going through Edge and seeing what delicious, delicious information you have on there. The Python program did just kill its own process, and command.exe and conhost.exe is still running. But if we keep an eye on it, it doesn't look like it's actually using much or any of the CPU. It's obviously going to be using memory because it's resident in memory, it is still active, but it doesn't look like it's using the CPU for anything, which means most likely what it was intended to do has actually already been completed. So we're going to go ahead and go into Wireshark. We have 61,000 packets, so we'll go ahead and stop really quick. We'll save it as 1, and we'll start a new one just in case these two usual suspects do anything suspicious. And we're going to shove this into Zooey. We're going to import data. We're going to go to Documents, double-click 1.pcap, and then while it's processing that, we're going to go into Process Monitor. We're going to do 2 filters here. So we're going to do operation is create file, and process name is bose18mkt.bat. So go ahead and add that. We'll click apply. It might take a few seconds, but it should be done fairly quickly. And as you can see, there's not anything really to be seen on here. We're not going to be able to see if it actually did download anything. So the next thing that we're going to have to do is change this from bose18mkt.bat to pythonw.exe, which is what we saw in Process Hacker. Shouldn't take too long. And as you can see, we do have 1,504 events. This is what I saw in testing, so it means that most likely these two have already done what they need to do. Now, if we take a look at pythonw.exe, this is going to be running a lot of Python scripts, so unusually, we're going to be looking at some different things in Process Monitor that we're not too familiar with. Most of these are going to have a .pth or a .pyc because these are extensions for Python, but we are going to be able to ignore most of them. This is usually just them calling other files or possibly importing libraries, so we could skip most of this. We can see that it's accessing SSL, an open SSL config file, but that's not too suspicious on its own, or at least, at the very least, it's not going to tell us too much. So if we keep going, eventually, we're going to see something very nasty. So if we keep going down here past the character set normalizers, past the PyCache, past the sessions and models, past CryptoDome a second time, and we keep going past PNSR1, we do see that it is finally calling some Windows DLLs, and these are the DLLs we'd usually see from other Trojans on the channel that are not using Python. So it looks like maybe we're getting somewhere. We got some more Python stuff to go through. dicts.dat, GenPy, some more DLLs, and it looks like it's accessing the registry. So, not good. We could check really quick and see if it did disable the registry, because that happened in the last video we did. I'm not expecting it to have done so. It probably just changed some registry keys, or added or deleted some. But if we click yes, we can still access registry editor. Okay. Odd. Don't know why it did that twice, but okay. And if we keep going, it looks like we're doing scheduling of some tasks. So perhaps this malware has persistence. We will take a look and see if that is the case. And here we go. So if we move closer to the bottom, it looks like it's doing a screenshot, and it is accessing Microsoft Edge. And if we keep looking, it'll tell us what exactly it's accessing. So it's doing network information, cookies, network persistent state, network data, reporting in NEL, and if we keep going, it's accessing your trust tokens, web data, login data, cookies, web data, but this isn't the nasty stuff I was talking about. Accessing your browser data, fine. Most Trojans do that anyway. And then we've got Mozilla Firefox, and it's going to do more of the same thing. So it's just taking a check to see what browsers you have installed, and then it's running this for all the browsers it detects. It's not like Luma, where it does try to grab the files of every browser that it knows of. And we're doing another check for web data and login data in Edge again for some reason. And here we go. So this is the nasty part. So if we go down here, it looks like we are in the temp directory, public application, and then 4 random letters. And we got cookies. Then we got password.txt. Then we got credit card.txt. And then we got token service.txt. Now, if we try to go to any of these, it does say success instead of name not found in result. However, if we try to go to any of these, they're not actually there. So what it did was, it made these text files, and it imported and put in all the data there that it could find, sent it to a C2, and then deleted that file so you didn't know that it ever did anything like that. They've got a tkqc.txt. I'm not entirely sure what that would be. Immediately ticket query comes to mind, but that wouldn't make much sense. Screenshot.png, I mean, we can look, but I doubt there's going to be anything there. Unfortunately, there is not, so we can't see what that image was. It may have been a screenshot of the desktop. Really no way to know. But if we keep going, we're almost to the bottom. It looks like it's doing this text file check again. And it imported some kind of zip folder, interestingly enough. But if we keep looking, we're doing more screenshots. We're accessing those files again. We're accessing Microsoft Edge again, CrashPad settings, throttle store, add platform, and then that is going to be the end of that. If we take a look at Process Hacker, that command prompt is still running. I believe that this malware has persistence. I could be wrong, but I believe that it does. Now, if we scroll up here, do we see anything else that's too suspicious? Fake service hosts, anything like that? Not really. It looks like everything is being done out of this command.exe. So something to keep in mind. If we take a look, we're going to go to Wireshark, and we're going to, I'll save this one as 2.pcap. I'm not going to do another one though, because I'm fairly certain the malware has done what it's going to. Let's go ahead and open Zooey, that is Process Monitor. Let's open Zooey, and we're going to take a look at this query pool. So we do have 562 rows, not a lot. Alert 3s are just going to say wrong direction for first data, that's fine. So we're going to ignore the alert 3s. But if we get any alert 2s or 1s, I'll take a look. Although I am not seeing anything of the sort, which makes sense. Oh, wait a minute. We took a look at alert 2. ET policy, possible external IP lookup domain observed in SNI, ipinfo.io. Interesting, so it looks like it is doing an IP check. All right. Oh, what the heck do we have here? ET policy Dropbox.com offsite file backup in use. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. How many of those are we going to see? Probably just one. And that does seem to be the case. So now we'll go ahead and import 2.pkapng just in case it's doing anything else. And then we're going to take a look at 1.pkapng in Wireshark to see if we could find any suspicious IPs. So if we go ahead and maximize this, we do have a bunch of retransmissions down here from a 34.107.114.191 and then a 243.93 and a 100.209. So a bunch of different connections from a 34. Now, if we go ahead and put these in halves, none of those are actually showing up in the contacted IP list. But if we refresh this, there's now 5 contacted IPs, however, the 34 is not showing up. Okay. So we're looking for 162s. Interestingly enough. Really surprised these aren't showing up, but okay. What if we do an HTTP check? Because sometimes malware does communicate over HTTP. However, that does not seem to be the case this time. Okay, so that's not going to work. Let's scroll down a little more. Scroll down to the 20,000s. We've got some 172s, and as you can see, we got 172.65.25178. That's almost what all of these are communicating over. Actually, that's what all of these are communicating over. So it looks like this 172 may be the C2 server, despite not having any detections. So let's go ahead and expand this in VirusTotal. And I'm going to run another check. Now, usually when I do this, it never actually gives us a more up-to-date version. And it doesn't seem like it's going to do it this time. However, this is only 21 minutes ago. If we go to Community, Xenoverse Launcher.exe, Pokemon, okay? Titan, Amadei, and other interesting stuff. Do with that as you will. So since we don't have much information on it in VirusTotal, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to copy the IP. So let's copy it here. And we're going to run it through abuse IPDB and whois. So we'll put that here. And we'll put that here. It looks like it was reported 5 times. Confidence of abuse is 0. And the last report was a whole year ago. So it is possible that this is just a coincidence. Used in participation of a DDoS attack. Unauthorized connection to port 23. Interesting. And then it looks like we've got some port scans. I don't know why this is written in Cyrillic when they're in French, but okay. Interesting enough. But we do have 5 reports on there. And if we take a look, this is on Cloudflare's net. So not anything too suspicious there. But if we keep looking through and look for some of these 162s, maybe if we go further down. No, but we have a ton of packets being sent back and forth from this 172. Almost 30,000. I'm not seeing anything at all to the 162. As a matter of fact, if we just do something like this, that's not going to work. Maybe an in. 162, 125, 118. That may not work. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this really quick. Okay, well, either way, those IP addresses are not showing up. I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll do these 2. And yeah, as we can see, we're not communicating with those IP addresses. We're only communicating with the 172, not any of the 162s. So do with this information what you will. And if we take a look at the new query pool for 2.pcat, there's actually more rows, which is interesting. If we take a look through here, is there any more communication happening? Are we accessing that Dropbox, or are we doing anything with ipinfo.io? Probably not, but I was wrong the first time. So, let's see if I'm wrong this time as well, and it does not seem to be the case. So, the last thing that we're going to do at this point is we're going to go ahead and restart the computer. I think we've taken a look at everything that we really need to. We do have these contacted domains, but it looks like everything's being done over Dropbox. So there's really no need in taking a further look at that. So we'll go ahead and close that, close this, close you, and close you. And we'll go ahead and restart the machine. Thinking about it these days, it might actually be faster just to do a hard reset through VMware. I doubt that it would break anything, but I've been kind of holding off on that idea just in case it would. Because if it did, obviously it'd break the whole VM, and that would be a video in the trash. But I'll do some research into that and see, because it would save several seconds in the restart process if I could simply just do reset. Okay, let's go to malware analysis, let's go to process hacker, go, and we're going to look for anything persistent. I believe it will have persistence. And yeah, we immediately see python.w.exe running under Explorer, and it looks like it's executing the exact same payload. It did close edge in its entirety that time, and as we can see, command prompt is not running. So it may be that whatever it was supposed to do to close itself the first time simply failed. And with this new persistent startup process, it has modified code that actually allows it to close out like it's supposed to. Who knows? But it looks like this malware does also have persistence. What's BDE UI launcher? Interesting. If we go back to that report on virus total and we take a look, and we take a look at the relations and go to dropped files, there are 880 of these. I don't really want to go through the whole thing. And all of these look like .pys and .html. So there's really no need looking through that. That's probably just a red herring, a file I've not seen before that's part of Windows or part of a program I've installed. But I doubt that had anything to do with it because we didn't see anything like that when we looked through Python script, or not the script, but like the results in Python when we were in process monitors. So I'm going to assume that doesn't have anything to do with it. If I find out otherwise, I will let you guys know in the comments of the video. But that is going to be it for, again, I forget the name of the malware, InvalidBOM. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if there's anything I did not do in this video that you want to see in future ones, please leave a comment and let me know. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.